booktube. I am here today to talk about bookish pet peeves, and like the stereotypical ones and whether they do or do not bother me. So I pulled up a list on my phone and notice it's just a white square because the lighting in here. I am using a list published in October of 2021, but I went through the list and it's stuff that I can have opinions about. And it is the top 10 most annoying bookish pet peeves from traversingchapters.com. So I'll hit that link down below. I just googled bookish pet peeves and this was one of the links that came up. So I don't know this person, I'm just kind of using them as a resource jumping off point. Thank you, person, for helping me not have to write a script. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through and list their bookish pet peeve and whether I am annoyed by that. So the first one is non-matching editions. I guess this is when in series they kind of maybe change the cover or the size and style of the book partway through the series. For me, that's like, yes, it's nice, it's aesthetically pleasing, but it's not going to deter me from buying a book or really annoy me that much. I mean, if you look at my shelves, all the books are like different sizes and stuff. Like I do have a lot of Tolkien in the same edition, but then like this is the Silmarillion in a totally different edition down here. But yeah, that's just because I was fortunate to get that as a set. Which set? Oh, I have like Abarat down here. One's a soft cover, one's a hard cover. My Malazan series, they're mostly the mass market paperbacks, which I find is another people say that's a pet peeve a lot. I don't really mind mass market paperbacks myself. I'm worried more about like the words inside than whether the covers all look the same, because my shelves, there's no like uniformity in my shelves, and I kind of like it that way. I'm very in my personal style too, like decorating style, and like I guess my own personal style too. I'm very much about like maximalism and like cluttering, and I think it just looks better when things are all different and there's lots of colors to see and lots of different sizes. It like creates interest for my eyes, at least. I know it's not everyone's style and some people do prefer it, and I'm not bashing it. Like if you like that, that's what you like. It's just I don't care myself. I have collected, I should say. I'm pointing up here like you can see up here, like you are here with me, but you can't see up there, and I'm not going to move the camera because it's not an easy tripod to like put in the back position. But up here I have my Wheel of Time series, and I'm collecting in both hardback, which I have complete, and mass market paperback as well. But then there's certain books like the Wheel of Time, The World of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time, or also known as the Bad Art book in the Wheel of Time series, is like a big like coffee table book size. So yeah, it doesn't really bother me, but it is nice to have, like if it's there, but it's not going to deter me is what I'm saying. Okay, anyways, this person also said when the author's name is in bigger font than the title. That can be confusing. I'm looking over here right now, and the name of the book is No Time to Spare, and it is written really smallly, but Ursula K. Le Guin is written really big, and I think that's because the selling point of the book is that it's essays by Ursula K. Le Guin, and you're going to buy it not because of the title, not because it's essays. You're going to buy it because it's essays by this specific author. So I kind of see the reason for the title being smaller than the author's name. I don't really see that a lot personally. Oh, I guess here too. Now that you pointed it out, I'm gonna notice it more. Like on the front cover here, Stephen Erickson is bigger than Dead House Gates. Interesting. Interesting. I'm just looking around and seeing if that's the case. I'm looking at a lot of like spines here. I guess on the front cover it does that too. Huh. That's not interesting. I wonder if they do that mostly with more well-known authors, because you're going to pick up the book because of the author as opposed to the title jumping out at you. Oh boy. Well, thanks for pointing out something new that I'm going to start noticing. I don't know if I'm annoyed by it or not. I think because it's new, I haven't come to a full opinion on it yet. Interesting. Interesting. I didn't look through this too closely when I first decided to go off this list. Okay, so people asking you a question in the middle of a tense scene. Yeah, I tend not to read around a lot of people. And if I am, I'm gonna pick a book, like I know, like if I can read at work, but I know I'm gonna be disturbed, I'm not gonna bring a book that requires me to pay a lot of attention to it. So I'm gonna pick something that's easier to read, and that I won't be completely jarred if someone interrupts my reading. Yeah, so I'm not someone who can read around a lot of people, so that's mostly just like reading alone. But yeah, I can see how that would be annoying, like if you're like really into a scene and like someone's just like, oh hey, like what's for supper? And I'll just be like, this person's like, you know, in a life or death situation and I need to find out. I don't care what's for supper. So yeah, slightly annoying, I can see that. Having to wait for the sequel, then not remembering what happened earlier in the story. So yeah, that's annoying. I tend not to read a lot of new releases, so this doesn't happen often to me, but I'm like, I think I'm there with everyone where like, we're waiting on George R.R. Martin to drop Winds of Winter. Is that the one that's coming? It's coming, I don't know. Whatever book is next in the Game of Thrones series. Yeah, that's gonna be annoying, and I'm not one of those people who's gonna go back and reread all of Game of Thrones when that happens. I'm gonna go on the internet and I'm gonna look up summaries, and then I will read Winds of Winter. And at this point I also don't think I'm gonna read it because it's been so long, and the TV show just kind of... I didn't even watch season 8, going off on a tangent, of Game of Thrones, so like it kind of like they killed it. They murdered that show and then like stabbed it in the back again just to like double check that it was murdered. So yeah, I don't know if I have really much interest in Game of Thrones anymore. But yeah, waiting for a sequel sucks. I did read one book by... I'm looking all over because I'm looking for this book. I don't think it's out. The Finovar Tapestry by Guy Gavriel Kay. I remembered it. And what he did was, before like the book began, he provided a little synopsis of the previous book. And like he knew the important parts that you'd have to remember in order to read it, to read the next book, and I thought that was really cool. Even though I like binge read the series, it was nice to see what he thought was important enough to put in the synopsis. I thought that was really cool, and I think all books in series should do that. They should have like a little synopsis of what happens. And I'm not a person who will go back and reread stuff. Like if I can't read your sequel or your next book in a series without having read the other books, like without... Okay, let's rephrase that. If I've already read like the first 3 books in the series and the 4th book comes out, I should not have to reread the first 3 in order to understand the 4th, in my opinion. There should be enough hints and reminders and stuff that I can go in that book with vague memories of what happened in the first 3. So, yes. People being snobbish about genres. Yes. Because I used to be one of these people. I used to be very snobbish about what I was reading, and I'm so glad I'm not anymore, because like there's so many good things out there. Like if you open up your mind to like reading other things, like it's amazing. You know, you're only hurting yourself by being snobbish, and you're not impressing anyone. I think like a lot of people have this like idea of like intellectual people of being like, oh, I only read like classics and like certain nonfiction and stuff like that. And I actually think you're less intelligent for having an opinion like that, to be honest. Like, why wouldn't you want to open and broaden your mind more? I've learned a lot from books that would not be considered, you know, intellectual in those ideas. You know, there's so much more to learn out there than like being snobbish about certain things. Yeah. I don't understand this one. This is the best XX novels in media. Oh, the best, okay, I guess XX stands for like number, so like the best 20 novels in different medias are often 80% male and 90% white authors. Yeah, that's more than annoyance. That is wrong, morally wrong. There's, again, so much more out there to read. So many great authors out there who are people of color, who are male, who are non-binary, who are trans, who are, you know, and this is not discounting like white male authors. Like there's a lot of good stuff there too, but there's a lot more to the world. And that it should be represented. Yeah. So yeah, that's less of a pet peeve than like something that's morally wrong, in my opinion. Okay, especially if you're a journalist, like shouldn't that be your, another rant, shouldn't that be your like job, is to like not just talk about the same 5 books that everyone's heard about, but to like maybe like find out new stuff, maybe, you know, just pin that out there. So, oh, this doesn't, well, I guess it could apply to me. When the first part of a series is translated into my language, but the rest of the series isn't. So, this person is not a native English speaker. I am a native English speaker. So, there are instances where, I guess, books aren't translated. I can't think of any off the top of my head. It would be annoying, though. You know, like if you're not an English speaker, like waiting for books to be translated that have already started being translated. That's definitely an issue. I can't think. I'm looking at my shelves looking for books. I do have a lot of translated fiction, but not a lot in series, I guess. Yeah. Waiting for books in translation can be a thing. But I guess I'm fortunate to be a native English speaker and having that probably be the books that most... I would think that would be like most books are translated into English as opposed to like other languages. Okay, stickers on books. This is one I see all the time. And it, no, I really don't care, to be honest, that much about it. Because like most... Yeah, I did at one time have some books like pulled out facing forward, but like a lot of my books are just like spines, and there's no real stickers on the spines. Sometimes there are. Let me see if I have a book here that has... No, I don't. But like the Value Village has started the self-checkouts, and they will put, oh, here's one. Gotta dig for it, sorry. And they put their stickers on the books now so that you can scan them instead of like they used to have a sheet that they'd scan off of at their cash register. But now they have like these stickers, and I don't like that they go on the spine. Because sometimes it covers, I like knowing like the publishers or like the author's name is covered up. And these don't always come off smoothly, which is why they're not off on this one. And sometimes they leave, this one has a bit of stickiness from that when I did take it off. I don't like the stickiness because that is a sensory issue, but the stickers on the front really don't bug me, to be honest. And then here, the author writes, even worse, printed stickers. So that's when like the stickers printed onto the cover. It was funny. Okay, I went to a bookish event called Word on the Street, and we was listening to an author speak, and he said the cover was designed so that there could be place for a sticker if it ever won an award. And he says that was done on purpose. Like this blank space was left so that the sticker could be placed there on the book if it ever won an award. So like, I mean, sometimes it's done purposefully. That's interesting. Yeah, so yeah, those don't bug me. This does. People who return a book and it's damaged. Now, the level of damage is questionable. My belief is that if someone lends you something, you just return it in the condition that you got it in. And if it's wrecked to a point that the person is upset, replace it for them. But like, I don't lend out books because the first time I lent out a book, I never got it back. So I was like, after that, I'm like, no, if I want you to read this book, I'll buy you a copy of the book. Or I lend it to my brother because he's just like in the next room over. Like I'm like, I know where you live. I will get the book back. But like, it's like if the spine's cracked, I like if I tell you like it's okay to crack the spine and it's okay to dog ear the pages, there's sometimes where I'm just like, especially with my brother, because I know I'm like, if you want to annotate it, like go ahead. I love reading like other people's annotations and seeing what they thought was important in the book and stuff like that. But like, have respect for the person. Like if someone lent me a book, even though I don't mind my own personal books being like dog-eared or spine cracked or written in, if that person doesn't say anything, I'm not going to do that in their book. That's just like common courtesy. Just don't do that. And if you do that, buy another book for that person, because that's just plain rude. So yeah, those are common bookish pet peeves. I guess that those were a lot of the recurring lists. I looked at a bunch of lists before doing it, and that one just seemed to have some common ones. So yeah, let me know what your biggest bookish pet peeve is. What is my biggest bookish pet peeve? I should probably tell you. Do I have one? Okay, here's one. It's stupid and it's solvable, but it still annoys me. Hardcover books, it's just the first book I grabbed off my shelf, that have the dust jacket while you're reading, and the dust jacket goes like, so you're reading and you're holding the book, and the dust jacket goes up and the book goes down, or the other way, the dust jacket goes down and the book goes up. That annoys me, and I know I can solve it by taking off the dust jacket, but you know how many dust jackets I've lost doing that? And I kind of like the feel of the dust jackets, and I know I could tape it too, but then it like, if you hold it and you tape it, then you get like these little like weird things like this happening on it. It doesn't always lie flat. So like, I like the dust covers, but they cause some problems. Like, I prefer it, that's why I really like library books. I love the feel of like this plastic. It's a sensory like niceness, and the cover stays on, and it does like have the weird, you know, see how it's not like connected, and that kind of annoys me, but like at least it's not falling off because it's in place. I'll put that back on the shelf now. So yeah, that's my biggest bookish, say that 10 times fast, you say it, bookish pet peeve. It's hard to say. Yeah, let me know yours, and thank you for watching.